Nico Robin is one of the most interesting and fan-favorite characters in the world of One Piece. Today, we're talking about her, but more specifically about her fruit power. Before we start, leave a like and subscribe, it really helps, and let's get moving. Robin's fruit is the Hana Hana no Mi, or the Flower Flower fruit, but counterintuitively, her powers have very little to do with flowers, because what she can do is create human features: hands, feet, legs, ears, eyes, hands. So even though it's called the flower fruit, it does not create flowers, or it does not use flowers. It has nothing to do with nature or anything greenery. That's the case of Green Bull, one of the admirals of the Navy at the moment. So that's the first oddity when we talk about Nico Robin: the name of the fruit versus the usage, the actual power of the fruit. And then later on in Wano, we see a new form that actually takes even further away the name and the power association. Because instead of doing something flower related, Robin actually transforms herself into a demon using an extended power of her devil fruit. So it's its own thing, right? But then this actually connects with something perhaps a bit deeper and more important to the overall development of the story. And let's start by picking up on the name of Robin's fruit, the flower fruit, the Hana Hana no Mi, because it is a very important character that is connected, actually always mostly surrounded by flowers, which is the main bad guy of One Piece, Imu-sama himself, or herself, you know what I'm saying? And we see him, or we see them very often in one specific place, the flower room. And we can see already the similarity being drawn here between the name of Robin's fruit and the place where Imu spends a lot of its time, the flower room. But not only it's one of the most important characters connected to flowers, there is a whole alphabet of meaning, not only in One Piece but in Japanese, in the language, in the cultural system in itself, where different flowers have different meanings. And then in One Piece, especially with the people from Amazon Lily, you have a lot of names holding some significance with the story or messages portrayed by certain characters. But with this example, I just want to show you the value and the historical power of flowers itself. And at first I thought that Robin's name had nothing to do with flowers, but actually, after some research, there is one flower that is associated with the name Robin. In English, it's the ragged robin. And it has various meanings, both in Hanakotoba, the Japanese language of flowers, but also in the Victorian age language of flowers. And in both languages, I mean, the ragged robin shares the value or the message of wit. And there is, I think, nothing that describes better Robin in One Piece life than wit, being able to withstand some very arduous life. But not only that, some curiosities, nothing to do with this theory, but some curiosities is that one of the members of the family of the ragged robin, it's only one of the two flowers that can survive in Antarctica. And after Sabodi, when Kuma sent the Straw Hats to different places, Robin was sent to the bridge, the killer wolf I believe, that was full of snow, so she was surviving in the winter, right? She was surviving in Antarctica. Also, another meaning for ragged robin could be ardor, which represents passion, enthusiasm as well, and Robin, through the events of Enies Lobby, regains her passion, her love for life, and specifically to the Victorian language of flowers, the ragged robin also symbolizes aversion. And also back in the day, around the 16th century, it would be used for love divination and weather prediction. I just wanted to share this with y'all because I think it's interesting. Now, another thing that might be connected to One Piece is the alternative name to the ragged robin, which is the Wednesday Weed. And it's very interesting because the first time we meet Robin, she's a part of the Baroque Work Association, where all the top female characters were named after days of the week. Robin was Miss All Sunday, if I remember correctly, but there was Miss Wednesday as well in that organization. And funnily enough, Miss Wednesday is Nefertari Vivi, and we know the obsession between Emu and Nefertari Lily, the ancestor of Vivi. So Ragged Robin, also known as Wednesday Wade, then they were both Robin and Vivi were the same organization, and Miss Wednesday, Wednesday's Wade, Robin's alternative flower name, was a part of that organization, so they introduced in the same chapter. Both of them are part of the Straw Hats, and both of them potentially have a connection with Emu. And not only is that very, very interesting, I'm making here a connection between Robin and Emu, and now there is a connection between Robin and Vivi, and there was already a very obvious and established connection between Emu and Vivi, and now it connects, kind of circling back to Robin through Vivi and Miss Wednesday, and the Wednesday Weed, which is the alternative name of Robin's flower, the Ragged Robin. So maybe Robin's fruit, its more importance on its name being the flower fruit, and then being connected to the flower room, to all the flower meanings tracing back to him. But more than that, we have some other connections here between Robin and Emu. We have the connection through Vivi, we have the connection through the devilish form, because when Emu uses Domi Reversi, the victims gain devil-like aspects, fangs, bigger bodies, and demon-like wings. Speaking of demon-like wings, Gunku's, Emu's favorite vessel, also gains demon-like wings, so there is another connection. So there is a similarity between the victims of Domi Reversi and the new, or the most recent, transformation of Robin through her devil fruit power. A lot of people have made associations between Gunku and Robin being the children, or being the daughter or descendant of Emu, but I think there is one key difference to set that apart, which is Gunku already had her own power, the arrow fruit, and then through being possessed by Emu, she developed those devil-like aspects. On the other hand, Robin gained those aspects on her own power, so not being influenced by Emu. But that whole power, the fact that Robin manifested devil-like forms, might reveal a susceptibility, an opening, and connection to being possessed or influenced, or vice versa, being able to influence Emu in their own power, in their own game. And also to oppose a little bit Gunko and the whole Emu possession thing with the devil look-like, with the devil aspects, Robin in Thriller Bark, to be able to uphold a member of the crew, she made an angelic form with a bunch of hands. Another interesting connection between Robin and Emu, a bit far-fetched though to be honest, is that Robin uses French to pronounce the names of her attacks. One Fleur, Mille Fleurs, and what else is named in French in One Piece? The Baratier. No, I'm joking. It's the Marijuana, the holy land of the Gorosei, the Celestial Dragons, and Emu itself. So maybe far-fetched, but also a little connection in there. Then, a bit more deep, it's the connection of Robin with the Revolutionary Army, the history of the ancient world, because Robin, one of the main driving factors of Robin in the story is the fact that she can read poneglyphs, right? So it's all that. Not only was she sent by Kuma to the Revolutionary Army, and she's also digging into whatever Emu doesn't want people to remember, the poneglyphs and the story that they entail. And then a bit more of a mirroring or a connection through Robin's life itself is the fact that Robin was always hunted down by the government. The government always had their eyes on Robin, so the connection might not be so present, but Emu and the government always knew about Robin. And what do they call Robin? The Demon Child. Maybe that's a driving factor of the theories implying that Robin is a descendant or straight up daughter of Emu or somebody in the government, but Demon Child might be just she inherits something, and maybe her demon power showed to us in Wano is what she inherits through her devil fruit. And this takes all the way back to one main point of some of my theories and some theories of other content creators, which is the devil fruits, but not only that, going even a bit deeper, the origin, the source of devil fruits. Because a lot of people say it's the Eve tree, some people say it is what Vegapunk said, which is the wishes of people, but maybe it's both. It's a tree that can channel the wishes of people, but one thing is certain is that if Robin's fruit connects her through Emu, there is the possibility that the devil fruits and the tree or its place of origin can be used to replicate Emu's power, or they can be used to counter Emu's power, or maybe they are a product of Emu's power. And that will make sense because fruits come out of flowers, and Emu spends a lot of time in the flower room as well, and Marijuana is directly above the Eve tree, and if that confirms it, if tree producing the devil fruit is confirmed, then maybe the world government would have direct access to devil fruits, and also that would explain one of my biggest questions, which is the government always, in One Piece, the government always seems to grab the devil fruits, right? Because Shanks stole Nika's fruit from a government ship and they had a bunch of valuable fruits in God's Valley before the God Valley incident. So it seems like they either know where the fruits will spawn, because supposedly when somebody has a fruit and they are deleted from the server, the fruit supposedly just spawns somewhere else, but imagine it grows back on the Eve tree or something like that, and the world government would be able to go down there and collect it. But a bit of a counter argument is that there is no evidence, or we don't know that the government usually goes down to Fishman Island, because the Eve tree is on Fishman Island, but only maybe Fishman Island is really near the root of the Eve tree. Maybe the Eve tree goes straight direct into Marijuana. But to conclude here, it's a little bit obvious, not entirely 100% obvious, but there is a connection between Robin and Emu. And what does that entail? Right? Like, why is this connection important? Because maybe Robin can be the answer to defeat Emu, literally through her powers and through her information and the ability to read poneglyphs and to know the story of the ancient world, because that is one reason why Emu does not want people to know about the Void Century. And in the most recent chapter of the One Piece manga, that is stated that Emu wants the name of Davy Jones. I know it's nothing related here, but he wants the name to be forgotten. He wants the will to disappear, and that's exactly the same thing that it's happened with the Void Century. Maybe there is something in the Void Century history that can lead the people in the present to know how to and to be able to defeat Emu. You know what I'm saying? So if Robin can decipher that, she's a weapon directly against Emu. And maybe Robin's fruit, Robin's power is more of a message, is more of a metaphor than actually a direct weapon that can defeat Emu, but I still need to think about and research a bit more to decipher why Robin's fruit is called the flower fruit, but then it makes human features. You know, that's a bit weird. Unless the message is that through devil fruits, or through the origin of the devil fruit, you can create people, you can create other aspects of yourself. I don't know, that's still a bit interesting and a bit weird as well at the same time. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if you think that the connection is deep and solid enough, and what will be the importance of this connection between Robin and Emu. Thank you for watching. I see you on the next one.